I totally didn't start our video. All right, I'm not going to say all this over because I forgot to start our recording, but this one was our easy one. This was problem number 6. Again, 8 total choices. 4 of them are even, so 4 out of 8, which simplifies to 1/2. All right, question number 7 is the first time you see where they use that phrase relative frequency. This is kind of just a fancy way of saying probability. Okay? So it says, what is the relative frequency, written in percent form, that the next person will choose blue as their favorite color? So we're going to start. We're not going to start by making a percent. We're going to start by making a fraction, just like we did in the last problem. And in our fraction, the bottom number, the denominator, is going to be the total number of people. How would we find the total number of people? Add them all up. So why don't you do that while I answer my phone? All right, so how many total people were surveyed? 70 total people. So again, you should have added up all of these numbers using your calculator. That's why I asked you to get one. Now we're talking about blue. So the numerator is going to be the amount of people that chose blue, which is 35 chose blue. Now, this is not our final answer because they want us to write our answer as a percent. So how do we go about changing a fraction to a percent? But how do we go about doing it? Sydney? Good. You do the top number divided by the bottom number. So again, 35 divided by 70. Use your calculator and it says 0.5. That is your decimal form. So we have fraction form of relative frequency. We have decimal form of relative frequency. And now I want the percent form. How do I turn this decimal to a percent? Move it 2 places. Move the decimal 2 places. So it's going to be 50%. Some of you noticed that it was going to be 50% automatically. How did you know that? Very good. Just knowing how fractions work, that the numerator is half of the denominator, the whole thing equals a half, which is 50%. Okay? So I'm going to give you a problem similar to this up here on the board now. And I would like for you to tell me what is the relative frequency, written as a percent, that the next person chosen wants buffalo wings. All right, in order to find this, you should have found the total number of people, which was 50 total people, so that's your denominator. And the amount of people that like buffalo wings is 7. So 7 out of 50. Now, some people know how to find the percent without doing anything in their calculator, but most people probably did 7 divided by 50, which is 0.14, which is what percent? 14%, which would then be your final answer. So again, find the total number of people surveyed, see how many people chose whatever it is that they're talking about, and then turn that into a percent. What questions do you have about this type of problem? Any? All right, let's look at the next type of problem. All right. The next type of problem says if the probability of drawing a blue marble is 0.2 and the probability of drawing a red marble is 0.4, what is the probability of drawing either a blue or a red marble? So again, the probability of drawing a blue is what? 0.2, and the probability of drawing a red is 0.4. I want to know the probability of drawing a blue or a red. Does anyone have any idea what I should do about that? Add them together and that's it. Okay? So it's a combined probability. Blue or red, you would add them together. So again, I hope you're writing this down because you're going to have a question just like it on your CQA. If blue is 0.2 and red is 0.4, you add them together to get your combined probability. So why don't you try doing one similar? If the probability of spinning a 3 is 0.6, and the probability of spinning an 8 is 0.1, what is the probability of spinning either a 3 or an 8? So the probability of spinning a 3 is of 3 is probability of spinning an 8. So the probability of spinning a 3 or an 8 is 0.7. Very good. So the last two problems, 9 and 10, go together. They use the same information. Okay? This is an example problem. This is not the problem. This is just an example problem. It talks about two teams. Now notice that the teams play a different amount of games. They also win a different amount of games. So problem 9 wants to know, what is the which team has the highest probability of winning the next game? That means which team is best. Okay? And then question 10 is going to ask us, what are the relative frequencies of both teams? And that question got a lot of people when you looked at it originally. You weren't sure what they meant by relative frequencies. So let's do 9 first. So besides just guessing, how can we really find out which team has the highest probability? Besides just guessing, actually finding probabilities. That would be finding the probabilities, right? Yes. So Team A is going to be 18 out of 36 that they won. Write that as a percent then. You should be able to do that by now. Write 18 out of 36 as a percent. So 18 divided by 36 is 0.5, which is 50%. All right, Team B, I'm going to do the same thing. Now, finding the probability of Team B has nothing to do with Team A. Team B is 21 out of 35. So now write that as a percent. So 21 divided by 35 is 0.6, which is what percent? So, again, don't just guess. I know you have a 50-50 chance of guessing. Which team has the highest probability of winning the next game? Team B. Now, what's nice about doing all this work is because when we get to question 10, it's wanting to know what are the relative frequencies of both teams. You've already done it. You don't have to do it again. Okay? So again, question 10 wants to know the relative frequencies of both teams. Once again, that's just probability. And it doesn't say specifically if it wants it as a fraction, a decimal, or percent. So I don't care, because I'm the one that's grading it. So Team A, I would probably just write a percent, because I think that's the easiest thing to compare. And Team B is 60%. So it wants the relative frequencies, the probability of both teams. Okay? Not just the winning team, the best team. It wants it of both teams. Make sense? All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give back to you your answer sheet. And I want you to look over questions 6 through 10 again. And even if you felt like when you did number 6 the first time you got it right, check it again. Okay? If you were someone that was absent on Monday and you want to go back to questions 1 through 5, you can watch the video that I made from Monday that I posted. And then you can do 1 through 5. Remember that when you are done today with 1 through 10, give your answer sheet back to me. On Power Test, go to Summary, Exit, Exit. Do not submit it, because then that means you're finished. Okay, Summary, Exit, Exit. And then once you've done that, this is a great time to complete any late work. And a lot of you owe at least something. Not everyone, but a lot of you owe at least one thing. And if you don't think you owe anything, then you can check Power School and just make sure.